What's up, nation? Chef Mike's back again. Second part to our new series that we got going on, how to cook on a budget and make something easy. So the other day I was just messing around. I came home, I had went to Albertsons and I picked up this nice piece of choice chuck steak. And then right now, I don't know if you guys noticed that steak prices are going through the roof right now. So if I can save some money and help my family and cook it for everybody and learn for you or teach you guys how to do this, it's going to be awesome. This only cost me $9 and this will feed at least 4 people. So we're going to do this today. So when I got home, I'm like, what am I going to do today? And the first thing I thought about is, what do I have in my pantry? So I went through and I picked out, I was like, oh, I got some Goya beans. These beans are awesome too. And then I had some bacon. I had some veggies. And then I had some cheese. So I'm like thinking to myself, carne and jugo is one of my favorite meals to make. It's kind of difficult because traditionally you get all these tomatoes and peppers and you blend them all up, and next thing you know, you make this fabulous, dish. But I had everything in different forms. So I'm gonna show you how to make it very easy. And I got my buddy Raul here, dude. He's awesome. I've known him for years. So he volunteered to come try the food. And of course, he's not gonna say no, it's Chef Mike's food today. So I'm gonna bring him in here in a second. So let's get started. All right, guys, I'm back with my buddy Raul. What's up, man?
Yeah,
how you been?
Yeah.
So good to have you back, man. It's like this guy, I've known him for many years. How far do we go back?
Over 20 years.
Yeah.
We're pretty old.
Yeah. So Raul, his wife, Kim, is an amazing chef too. So I literally hit him up on Facebook and I was like, hey, I need someone to come try some food. And his wife literally secretly just emailed me and said, hey, get Raul in here. He's in town. He's always out of town, so he works.
They called me out of the house to come over here.
Yep. So he showed up. We're good to go. So one day I'll have Kim in here too, and we'll have to do a little duo. But I'm gonna make some carne and jugo today for you.
Sounds great.
I hope you're hungry.
I'm always hungry. You know this.
Perfect. All right, guys. Let me get to cooking. I'll bring you right back.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right, guys. So let's start cutting up some veggies first. So I brought a couple different peppers. I got a yellow jalapeno. I got a couple different jalapenos too. So if you've watched this, and traditionally, like I said, what they do is they saute these in first with the bacon. I'm gonna cut these up a little bit to get a little bit more flavor out of them. So like I said, I didn't have a lot of stuff in the house, so I just came home. I get off of work of 9 hours, 10 hours, whatever, and I decided, you know what? I'm hungry, but I don't want to take 3 hours to cook for myself. So we're gonna do this first. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these jalapenos up. And I wanna take the stems off, obviously. And I'm gonna take the seeds out too. I don't want it to be too spicy. So we'll take these out. And if you wanna keep the stems in, or the seeds, then you can have it. It's gonna be a little bit spicier. I just kinda try to take the ribs out just a little bit. I don't try to clean them too good, but just a little bit out for me. My poor wife can't have too spicy food, so just warning you, if you're weak with the spice, take a little bit of that out. So I'm just gonna cut these up like this. So nice and easy. Just little strips. Perfect. Got that. So we're gonna use basically a couple different things. Like I said, I got the jalapenos. We're gonna use some onion, and then a little bit of cilantro at the end. I have these cool onions too. I'm going to show you here in a minute. They're really nice and big. They're green onion, but they call them Mexican green onions, which is funny because I never knew they existed until I started eating in Mexican restaurants and I seen these big green onions come out and I'm like, wow, these are cool. But they taste awesome on the grill. So let me show you what they look like. These things are huge. So big green onions. So we'll cut those up too, and we'll add that in here too. So let's go with one of these. I'm just gonna go right down the middle with this guy. Just like that. All right, I've got 2 more here. And this is just gonna add some awesome flavor to the end. Just like that. One more here. I got these all at Albertsons too, believe it or not. They actually had them there. So you can go to your favorite taqueria. They carry them there too. They're very awesome for grilling. Like I said, if you're making carne asada or anything like that, people use those all the time. Now we're just gonna go with 1 sweet onion. And this, I'm just gonna do a kind of a coarse chop on it. So take the skin off here. Perfect. And I'm just gonna give it, like I said, a coarse chop. This is basically it's like a soup, almost like a Mexican chili bean. So you don't have to really be all technical and cut this thing up all crazy. I'm just gonna go in half one way and just gonna get this like that, just to get all those flavors. Perfect. Do that. Okay. Now I'm missing one last thing, which is garlic. Give me one sec. And I'm gonna use about 2 nice big pieces of garlic here. So that is a good one right there. Smash and get the skin off there. It's a nice easy way to do it. Skin off. And then I'm gonna chop these up really fine. It's gonna give it a nice mince. So all this stuff I have in this plate, I mean, is amazing. The smell already, I haven't even started cooking yet. It's like chopping up garlic, jalapenos, and onions. To me, that's a trinity in the Mexican, cooking. You have that in everything pretty much. Every time my grandma used to cook for me, those are the 3 things that she would use on everything, whether it was beans, rice, I don't care what it is. Those always made it into the dish. It's funny because my sons, when they were younger, they hated onions. So I had to trick them to eat onions, and I would make my Spanish rice that always had onions in it, and they'd always love it. So they would sit there and, Dad, this is amazing. And I'd wait to the very, very end to tell him that there was onions in it. So it was funny because he said he was allergic, and he was never allergic. Loved it. So, all right, so we got that all cut up. I'm gonna clean up my board here a little bit, and then we're gonna go into the bacon. So bacon, you can use whatever bacon you like. I'm using Bar S today. You can pick out whatever bacon. Usually you can go to a butcher block and they have bacon already there for you, so you can pick out a couple pieces. So what I'm gonna do with this, I just need about half of this pack. So this is where all the flavor is gonna come. So we're gonna use this to actually saute everything. So the bacon grease is amazing. So I'm gonna cut this up. It's like this. And I want those nice pieces. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna saute this first, and we're gonna get all that, we're gonna render all the fat out of the bacon, and that's what we're gonna use to actually saute all of our vegetables and our meat. So once that's all cut up, I'm just gonna give it one more cut here across. And so, perfect, and it's ready for the pan. So give me one sec, we're gonna turn around, we're gonna cook this real quick, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for a new dish to make? Or maybe you want to try a new approach to your favorite meals? Then we invite you to subscribe to Chef Mike's YouTube channel. With dozens of videos to choose from, there's a dish for everyone. Subscribe today and hit the notification bell for new updates.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our nice little pot here. You can use a saucepan, whatever you want. I'm just gonna put a little bit of avocado oil in there. And we're gonna go in with our bacon. Like I said, we're using this to render the fat. So we wanna get all this bacon fat out of this. And then I'm gonna put it onto a plate, and then I'm gonna saute all my stuff, and I'll bring the bacon back in at the end. So give us a few minutes, we're gonna saute this up, and we'll be right back. All right, so we're getting some color on the bacon now. And what we want to do is make sure that this gets nice and crispy, because at the end, when I add this into the actual soup, we're going to make sure that it's nice and crisp. So I want the texture to be crispy. So it's there. Like I said, always have your stuff ready. So I have a nice little plate. We're going to transport everything to the plate when I'm cooking, because once I get done with the bacon, then in comes the veggies. After the veggies, in comes the meat. And then once everything's starting to cook together and I got the juices and the flavors and everything that I want, then I'm gonna start adding everything back to it, and that's where everything, the magic kind of happens. So. Beautiful. All right, so now I'm gonna turn this down. We're gonna get this bacon out of here. Be very careful because this does shoot up at you. You see all that beautiful fat that's rendered down there? That's amazing stuff right there. That's what's gonna season our meat. It's gonna season our veggies. So don't lose that stuff. That's magic stuff there. Every time I make soups, especially like clam chowder, it's always good to have a little bit of bacon fat. So every time you cook bacon, I always save that fat. I put it in a little jar, label it bacon fat, because it makes some of your soups the best soups ever. So put that there. Now we're gonna go in with our veggies. Here we go. So veggies coming in. Like I said, I'm going in with everything. We're gonna put all this in there. All right, so we're gonna turn this back up again. I'm gonna get all this sauteing. And once this sautés, the only thing I'm actually gonna pull out of this is gonna be the big green onions. After the green onions are done, we'll put them back in at the very end, but everything else that I have in here is gonna stay in here with the meat. So we're just gonna keep stirring. We've got all these flavors going on. The smell is amazing already. Smells like my grandma's kitchen back in the day. All right, we're gonna let this saute up a little bit and we'll be right back. All right, so now we're just gonna transport this back to a plate. All right, perfect. Now we're gonna go for some meat. So we'll be right back. Let's cut up some steak. All right, guys, like I said, we're gonna go back to this choice loin. I got double R ranch here, which is amazing meat. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut this guy up here. And I just want some nice pieces to this. You don't have to be like tiny, tiny pieces, but I do want bite-sized pieces. And if there's any fat or muscle in this, we're gonna cut that out. So go right here. So some nice strips. Just like so. One more piece, and then we're gonna go back into that pan that has all that beautiful bacon fat and still in it. And then we're gonna make this thing into a finished meal. So as you notice, when I'm cooking all this stuff, I try my hardest to make as less mess as possible. So I got a cutting board and I got a pot. Other than that, that's it. This is gonna feed everybody with that. So all I gotta do now is just wash those two ingredients and we're done deal. So I got everything cut up. And what I like to do now is I'm gonna season this meat up. I'm gonna go with a little bit of seasoning salt. A little bit of garlic, granulated. And then we're gonna go with a little bit of lemon pepper. All right, so now we're going to transfer this over to the pan. We'll be right back. Now we're going to hit our steak into the saute pan there. It's nice and hot still. And what we want to do is kind of give this a browning. So that way everything gets nice and browned. It's obviously going to give off a little bit of juice too. And that's what we're going to use for our actual sauce. And I got a couple of things here we'll talk about while that's browning. So like I was talking about earlier, I wanted to make this easy. And what did I have? So tomatillos, I could have sit here and boiled tomatillos, blended them up. Then I would have had to wash the blender. I would have had to do everything. So I don't want to do that. So I didn't do that. So I decided, hey, let's go red. So I got this Hernandez salsa. It's actually a mild salsa, which is nice, so my wife can eat it too. So it's not very, but it has a lot of tomato flavor. So I'm gonna use this instead of doing all that blending up. And then one of my favorite things is the 505 Southwest hatch peppers. These green chilies are amazing. So we're gonna put a couple spoons of that in there too to substitute for all those chilies that I didn't put in there. So that's two things we're gonna use. Next thing we're gonna use a little bit of olive oil. So that's an ingredient that every Mexican must have. And then we got Chef Mike seasoning. We also have some beef broth. I'm gonna go 50-50 with beef broth and chicken broth. So that's gonna be everything inside of our actual, food here. And what we're gonna do is these spices that I used earlier, I'm gonna keep them on the side just in case I need to add a little bit more. But like I said, for the most part, it's all about flavor. You don't want to over season. That's why in this actual meat, as you can see here, I didn't put too much seasoning in there because I want all the flavors to come out. And if you put too much, then you risk the fact of it being over salty, and we don't want that. We want to make sure everything tastes incoherent because bacon's got a lot of fat or salt. Some of these, if you don't get the right one, some of these have a lot of fat or salt. Sorry. One more time, not about the fat, about the salt. So these can be salty as well. So I try to make sure that you don't put too much salt in this because at the end you can salt it. If people want to season their own, that's fine. We just want to make sure we got all the flavors that we want out of everything. So we'll be right back. All right, guys. Once this starts browning like this, that's about perfect. That's where I want it. Now we're going to go back in with our ingredients. Our veggies in there first. Got a good stir. Alright. Go in there with a little bit of chicken broth. The good thing about this is it's actually deglazing the bottom of the pan. So it's getting all those yummy flavors off the bottom from the bacon, the steak, everything. I'm going to go with a little bit of beef broth. Perfect. And like I said, Hernandez, we're using this. We're gonna go approximately, 3-4 tablespoons. And I got my green chilies. Look how yummy those look. They're all flame roasted. Throw a couple tablespoons of those in there. Let's go a little more. A little bit of our caldo de pollo. We're gonna let this cook for about, I'd say 10 minutes. I'm gonna cover it up, let it cook, let all these flavors marry, and then I'm gonna stick my bacon back in there because like I said, I like my bacon to stay a little crisp. So we'll come back here in a minute and we'll add our bacon. After that, we'll add our beans and we're good to go. All right, guys, you see how it's actually cooked down a lot? This is perfect. That's what I want. Now we're gonna go back in with our bacon. Got some of that flavor. Mix that all in there. That looks so yummy. If you guys could smell this at home, you'd probably be knocking at my door right now. I know you, Eric, out there, you missed the show, buddy. Here we go. I'm gonna go in with a couple cans of the beans. These ones are my favorite. These are actually frijol de olla, rated 2020 Chef's Best Award Excellence. I love these beans. If I'm gonna not make a bean and be lazy, these are the beans I'm gonna go for. All right, mix all this up. So like I told you earlier, it's kind of like a Mexican chili bean. That's delicious. I already tried it for flavor. I don't really need anything else. The only thing I'm gonna add is a little bit of my seasoning. So get a little bit of that in there. It has a lot of peppers in there, so I want some of that flavor. All right, perfect. Then we're gonna put the lid back on this. I'm gonna let this cook for another 10 minutes. Then we're gonna bring out some cheese and top it off, and I'm gonna bring Raul back in here, and we're gonna have some food. So I'll see you guys in a minute. While that's cooking, guys, I'm gonna add a little bit of oregano to this. Love me some oregano. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of that in there. Close it back up. Give it a few minutes. Just about time to eat, guys. Limes. We're gonna put a nice squish of lime in there too. That brings out flavor like we've talked about several times. So I'm gonna squish one lime in here real quick. That's gonna bring out all the yummy flavors in there. And then I'm gonna add some cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, I'm very sorry. This is so yummy, especially fresh. And you notice dry ingredients, like I told you a long time ago, I added the oregano to the soup, so I actually make it, and it brings out the flavor of the dry oregano. This is fresh, so I don't want to add this while it's cooking, because then you're just basically going to take all the flavor out of everything. I want to add this at the very end. It's pretty much done, so I'm going to top this with this now, so that way all that cilantro flavor stays in. I'm also going to top it with a couple different things since we're talking. I got some queso here, which is a quesadilla cheese. You can use Chihuahua cheese, whatever cheese you like. I like this because it's kind of like a Mexican mozzarella. And then we also got cotija, which I love. It's a crumbling cheese, salty. So like I told you before, I didn't want to put too much salt in all this because when you top it with some of this cheese, it's going to give it that salty flavor. So, but this is amazing cheese here. And we also got avocados. So we were talking about this earlier. I have 2 avocados here that I got from the store. Notice they say ripe. Ripe. This is not ripe. Look, that is not ripe at all. This one right here is nice and soft. So what I do is I'll put this in either a paper bag and I'll stick it in my cupboard in a nice dark area, and usually over a day or two it's nice and ripe like this. Or if you have a flour bin and you stick this inside your flour, all-purpose flour, set it inside there and let it sit overnight and it'll do the same thing. So those are just some tricks if you have some hard avocados that say they're ripe. False advertising, guys, come on now. But we're gonna use some avocado on top of this too. So I'm gonna add this to this now, and then we're gonna be back here in a minute, and it's time to plate this food up and get Raul fed because he's hungry. All right, guys, Rodriguez, he makes some damn good tortillas, just letting you know. Straight out of Fruitland, Idaho. I use these all the time, they're amazing. If you don't wanna make your own tortillas, go with Rodriguez. He ain't paying me to say that either. So we're gonna throw these on a nice hot comal. Notice I got my little tortilla warmer here, so this keeps our tortillas nice and hot, so I can make a bunch of them, put them in here. I always suggest putting a nice little liner in here, like a towel, and then cover them up, and they stay warm forever. So we're gonna heat these up real quick, and we're gonna get Raul fed here. If you look at the food here, we got some beautiful foods ready to rock. This is the thickness I want, the consistency I want. Just looks yummy, tastes yummy. At this point, you would be tasting it for seasoning and seeing if you need anything else. I already tasted it for seasoning. It's amazing. I didn't really have to add nothing to it. So everything I showed you guys is in there. That's it. It's done. Look at how that tortilla is puffing up too. Oh, yummy. Get some color in that tortilla. There you go. That's how you want it. Then we're gonna go right into here. Slap it in here, cover it up, on to the next one. We got everything ready to go. I'm going to show you how I plate this guy. We're going to go right in here with some of this meat. Like so. Beautiful. And then I want to get one of these beautiful onions for Raul. Gotta have one of these guys too. Yeah, just like that. Put this right here. We're gonna get some avocado. Cut straight through this guy, just spin it around. Like I said, beautiful avocado. Cut this guy like that. Peel that off. Perfect. Top it off with some of this Gummy cheese. A couple limes here, just in case you want to add a little extra lime. Some people like a little bit more, so we'll throw that on here for them just in case. Got some cotija. This is yummy on any bean, just so you know. The stuff is amazing. Like I said, this is kind of a crumbly cheese. Oops, crumbled really quick there, see that? Let's get a little bit of that on top there too. Perfect. Make a nice mess here. All right, and then we're gonna go with some of this avocado here. Some of this avocado on top there. Beautiful. All right, guys. We got some tortillas here for him, ready to rock. Fold this up for him, set it around this bowl. We're gonna have him come back here and try this. So we'll be back here shortly.
Are you looking for a new dish to make? Or maybe you want to try a new approach to your favorite meals? Then we invite you to subscribe to Chef Mike's YouTube channel. With dozens of videos to choose from, there's a dish for everyone. Subscribe today and hit the notification bell for new updates.
All right, guys, we're back. Raul, tell me, how hard was this to sit here and smell this food cooking without eating yet?
Dude, I'm still saliva. There's a lot of saliva coming out right now.
Awesome. So I'm ready. Let's do this. I want you
I'm
to
ready.
take
I'm
a bite
ready.
in.
Let's
So generally what I do is I'll grab some of that tortilla and I'll just get a bite of that food to go with it.
Whoa.
Yep, just do it the good old style. Yep, there you go. Tell us how you what you think about everything.
Dude. Bomb.
So
It was good.
So you get all those flavors. Like I said, the cheese helps it out, the peppers, the meat. And like I said, we didn't go with the high-end cut of meat. We went with the, I mean, it was a great cut of meat, don't get me wrong. That Double R Ranch, they know how to do their stuff.
Mm-hmm. Nice and tender.
Nice and tender,
Good.
not a lot of fat. We cut all that stuff out. So we just made this soup for probably $15, bro.
Oh, yeah. It's
So,
great, though.
yeah.
It's awesome.
So, like I said, we're gonna keep this series going. This is series number 2. So all you people out there that thought Chef Mike was done, he's not done. I'm back. We're gonna do a lot more of these, and I want you to subscribe, and I want your friends, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Tell your friends what's up, dude.
Oh, yeah. The Nation, you got to subscribe to this channel. He has great food. Seriously.
Yep.
I'm gonna shut up and keep eating.
Perfect. And like I said, guys, we'll see you soon. Everything here was on a budget. I like doing that kind of stuff, and just literally, this stuff just came out of my fridge. You seen it was half open. I mean, it was something that I just came up with the other night, and I told Raul, we're doing this. We're doing this live. So thanks to everybody for watching. Subscribers, please hit the subscribe button. We want to hit 1,000 as fast as possible. Thank you to Israel for doing a major freaking productions. Thanks to his help, Teddy. And you guys, we're gonna eat. We're gonna get out of here. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Perfect.